What's up, War Report family? I'm your host, C Dub. Auburn basketball secures a much needed victory over the Tennessee Volunteers at home, basically punching its ticket to get into the NCAA tournament, it seems. So we ask you guys, is this the best coaching job Bruce Pearl has done since his time at Auburn? All of the fellas are here to discuss it. We want to hear from you. Let's get this tailgate started and find out what we think.
You are now listening to the War Report Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by
Athletic Architect.
It's your boy, I Jones. Be Will, C-Dog, Mike G. Get ready, sit on back as we bring you the War Report Weekend Tailgate.
War Eagle, everyone, happy Sunday. We are back with another weekend tailgate courtesy of show sponsor Athletic Architects. Guys, support those who support the War Report. That's how you support us, guys. Go to buildthehouse.com, especially if you have a business idea for LLC, or you know someone who's a student athlete who's looking to plan their financial future. Either way, go to buildthehouse.com. We definitely want to show love to Athletic Architects as we appreciate them for being a supporter as well as a sponsor of the War Report. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Sunday after a Auburn basketball dub, which these shows are so much more fun to do when Auburn wins. So we'll definitely get into that. Do us a favor, guys. We got a lot to discuss. People should get in on this conversation. Help them get there by sharing this content on social media. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, help us to march towards 20K now that we've cleared the 10K barrier. You know where to find us, guys, on social media. We'll share that later on in the show. But you need to become a member because there's some great content that we're giving to you guys in the off season. Ike's here to tell you all about that.
Yes, film reviews. If you like watching film, then you need to come on board with the War Report. If you don't like watching film, it's just because you haven't watched film with me, and you need to come on board with the War Report. It's basically how it goes. So get to that level where you can get that film access going. $5.99 gets you the patron level where you can watch all the replays of that situation. But we do allow on the live stream when I'm doing it for supporters to get in there. So yeah, come on board with the membership of the War Report, and we appreciate it. If you are a member and you want someone else to be blessed to be a part of this lovely green name gang, then what you need to do is gift a membership to them. Right now in the live chat, you can go in there and gift a membership to another person. YouTube will randomly assign that membership to someone who they feel is in need of a hug virtually. And so they go ahead and hook that up for you. So you can give them a gifted membership right there. We are giving away stuff as usual right here on the War Report. Hashtag get your weight up to be able to get a War Report mug. We're going to give that away courtesy of GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. Our guy, Walt Taylor, as always, supporting the War Report. And he's going to allow you guys to sip from the cup of greatness. So hashtag get your weight up. We'll be doing that drawing around the 1 hour mark. And somebody's going to be blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Okay. That's a greasy, slimy, nasty preacher sound you just made there, man.
Hashtag blessed. Okay.
Guys, again, I reiterate, these are fun shows to do when Auburn basketball wins a game. A much-needed game against Tennessee. Mike G, you were there, right?
I was there.
Talk about the environment, sir.
Ike,
were you there too?
No,
you were not there. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I was a little worried before the game because the student line was not looking strong. And as Bruce Pearl noted, it was spring break, and a lot of people went spring breaking. However, about an hour before the game, the students started to fill in, and that student section was packed. They did everything they could to pack the stadium. There was a plea made to fans. If you wanted to go see an Auburn game this year, home game, but could not afford it, this was your game. You missed an opportunity if you didn't go, because tickets were super affordable, and fans showed up. I had a friend who took his son to his first Auburn basketball game yesterday. I was praying for a win for him. They delivered, and the environment was, it was great. But guys, like, you could feel like the tension. It was palpable, near the end of the game, because everyone was waiting for Auburn to implode.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen yesterday. Not only did they stop Tennessee from scoring down the stretch, but they found scoring down the stretch to seal the win. It felt like a different Auburn team yesterday. There was lots of hustle out there, but I can't help but think, man, when Wendell goes 8 for 14, this is a hard team to beat. This is a really, really hard team to beat when Wendell goes 8 for 14. So he was out there making plays. They closed the rebounding gap over the last part of the game. Because they were getting out rebounded by 11. Like, Tennessee was like plus 11 at one point. I think they finished maybe just one rebound up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they finished like one rebound up for the game. So they definitely closed that gap significantly from where it was. And just made shots. Jalen Williams, Auburn had 4 players, guys, in double digits, right? The worst of which was Allen Flanagan, and he shot 45% from the field.
Yeah.
5 total.
Right? Can we come on, man? Like, this will be a hard team to beat in March. Now, this is going to sound like a super sunshine pump, and I may be just riding the high of yesterday's great weather and like an Auburn win. But if they play like this defensively and they get guys to step it, they get 3 guys in double digit scoring and some scoring from other people. This is not a team anybody really wants to see in March. It's not. This is not a team you can go in realistically, like, exclude the Kentucky blowout because that was anomalous. That was the outlier. Right. But when you look at all the close games that Auburn has lost, this is not a team you want to play in March.
There is no team in the SEC right now, save Kentucky, that I think is just, we saw it on the court. They just absolutely destroyed Auburn. But every other team in this conference, Auburn has given fits the entirety of a game.
Hell.
Yeah. And that's true of defensive teams.
Yeah, they gave him hell. Auburn has a whole ass song about it. So, like, to me, this is about basketball in March is about runs. It's about streaks. It's about getting hot at the right time. And after one game, given the totality of their last 8 games, it's hard to say, oh, they're getting hot. Look what they did to Tennessee, because they were out Zakai Ziegler. That can't be understated. Yeah. Now, listen, Vescovi was out there scoring.
Yeah.
They played him with Zakai Ziegler the first time, and
it was still a 3-point game.
Still 3-point game. Yeah. So, and on the road.
Right.
And on the road.
So, when I'm looking at it,
we didn't have Cardwell either time.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, Cardwell didn't play either time. So, I pointed out on my Twitter this morning that Zep Jasper turned in one of the best defensive stretches we've seen from any basketball player ever on a player who was hot.
Yeah, he was killing it.
Right. Vescovi was coming off them screens, picking and popping. He was all over the place. He was making plays. He was dishing. And then, Zep Jasper just bought him a ticket to Hawaii. It was like, hey, bro, you can go on vacation now. No more tomorrow for you. Right. I was like, man, it was impressive. I thought it was impressive to watch. And at the end of the game, it was 72-65. And the student section is swag surfing. And even then, it felt a little premature, but something was different. So if you were in Neville yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it just felt different yesterday. It felt different. This was a game they had to have. There was no escaping it. Bruce Pearl said it. This is do or die. You can't. You know how you get the standard guys. Well, no one game doesn't make our season. No, this game was going to make your season or break it. And they made it. So I'm really impressed with the performance that they were able to turn in yesterday. I felt like Bruce Pearl himself had a better plan down the stretch for the team. And guys showed up and did their jobs. right? Alan Flanagan was a shot maker yesterday.
We got to talk about Auburn's front court.
Yeah,
I mean,
man, come
the
on.
front court as a whole played amazing.
And I'll be damned. I like the last thing I'll say before I turn it back over to you guys is the Janai Broom and one should have been an and one. I did not like the officials' explanation.
Yeah,
I did not like it. They're saying because he lost control of the ball, it was no longer a single shot motion. But I'm sorry, I don't understand. I didn't understand that explanation. I thought it should have been an and one. He was fouled in the act of shooting.
Right.
And the ball went up before he hit the ground and went through the basket. Count that. That's an and one. They got that wrong, if you ask me. So
they get everything wrong. So I'm not,
I did not think officiating was an issue yesterday.
No, it wasn't the major issue. Let me reword that. They get stuff wrong frequently every game.
Right. But it wasn't like Auburn was being affected by whistles.
No, in Bama games, they get all the calls correct because Bama fans told me after our game that you shouldn't whine about the refs, get over it and take your L. So they must listen. It happens in every game. So why are you complaining about it? Right. Right. Bama fans, remember that?
Well, it happened
because
yesterday.
You didn't get screwed at all in the Texas A&M game, right?
Yeah. A&M got in that ass. They got it.
A&M just beat you. Take your L. Right?
Yeah. Take that L. Take that L. It was definitely a foul on Brandon Miller.
This medicine 100%. Tastes like crap, Ike, that you're giving them back.
That's what I was told. I was told that you shouldn't complain about the refs. Don't leave it up to the refs. Win the ball game, and you shouldn't have any problems. Stop whining and take your. That's what I was told. I was told I was whining because I was pointing out things that actually happened. So refs have no impact on games whatsoever.
Right.
Stop whining and take your L is what I was told.
A bad time of year to start a losing streak if you're Bama. Real bad time of the year.
They are looking more and more like we looked last year. Which is, you built that regular season win cash early, and then you're just struggling game after game to get back. I mean, they had to fight tooth and nail and travel to get a win against the worst team in the league. And ever since then, it's been fighting against Arkansas, 3-point lead for them to beat us, which honestly, talent-wise, this is why we can talk about coaching and the job Bruce Pearl has done. Talent-wise, we should have been able to play a team, if they are really that good as they want to believe they are, to an overtime win. Like, we had the last shot in that game. They shot terrible from three for that game.
On the road.
They did everything needed to lose that game.
Guys, am I crazy in thinking that this Bama team could get bounced in the second round of this tournament?
No.
No,
that's not crazy to think. If they get the wrong draw, they're going to lose.
They're going to, I just feel like for again a shooting team, they can go get cold at the wrong time. Scary. And I don't know, man. I could see this team exiting in the second round of the tournament. This is just me. I don't think there are no freebies in the big dance. None.
Yeah.
Getting a 1 seed is as close to a freebie as you're going to get. But man, even some of them teams, ask Virginia, it can happen. It can happen. You go cold at the wrong time, you could be the next number 1 seed to go down to 16. Nothing would warm my heart, guys. Like, listen, nothing would make my day. It would cure me of lupus to see Bama go down to a 16 seed. I would be healed.
Say it together. Let's do it.
Hey.
Oh, that feels good to do.
Man. Lord, just send my blessing this way, Lord. I claim it right now in Jesus' name.
Oh man. He said if you ask anything according to his will, and that is definitely in his will.
Boy, you flowing from the survival scrolls right now.
Talk about the front court, man, because Auburn's backcourt had a total of 31, Wendell accounting for a majority of those points. But the front court, Broom, Jay Will, and Flanagan turned in a really good game, man. And this is one of the performances that you need from those guys for sure. So talk about the importance of their play.
It's just for me with those three guys more than anybody else, it's confidence in taking shots. And that starts with, I think, Jalen Williams just being in a position to say, you know what, I can score. Let me just go out here and score. Let me go get a bucket. you know, and shooting the ball confidently. Janai Broome doesn't lack confidence. I think it's incumbent upon him to get touches, right? Like to get things where in his mind, they intended the ball to come in my direction and I go and get a bucket and score. And then for Alan Flanagan, for him, his confidence is different, right? Like Jay Will struggles to get the confidence to take the shots. Flanagan doesn't have a problem taking shots, right? Like he'll take shots throughout games. I think for him, he just needs to see a bucket, right? Like he needs the confidence of knowing, okay, I made one. Okay, I can make a second one, right? Okay, all right, cool. Like he's a rhythm kind of guy when it gets into that sort of thing. So it's different for those three guys in how they produce their confidence. But when they are confident and taking shots confidently, it's difficult to be able to defend because who do you stop in that instance, right? Like, you know, I've always talked about being multifaceted offensively. And when I talked about that, typically I'm talking about somebody in the back court and someone in the front court. But if you got your three front court guys who are all confidently taking and making shots, again, you know, I get it. Sunshine Pump. It's hard to beat a team that's confident in how they're approaching you offensively, especially when that team's already good defensively. If they're going to be good on defense and then they become more confident offensively, very difficult team to beat.
Yeah, Jalen Williams especially, right?
Yeah.
You know, in terms of confidence in shot taking, right? I mean, he is very confident in his three ball right now. And I'm just double checking the stats here because I was a little shocked. It felt like to me that he hit like 3, even though he went 1 for 5 from 3-point range. Like that's how confidently he was taking those shots. You know, it felt like he was it felt like he was just on. And then that little floater that he's got in the lane, that little right, when that's hitting, his game is super dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. It's a really hard shot to block. And it gives Auburn a presence down there in the paint for a team that lacks size. Right. And for a guy like him to go in and hit those floaters, I think it opens things up for his teammates if he wants to kick it back out. So, yeah, I mean, and then the confidence that Wendell Green got from the 3 at the end of the first half as well, too. Like, I mean, just the corner 3, he gave the dude a pump fake, put it down. And if you just saw the look on his face, he had that look in his eye, Caesar. You know, after he missed that shot, he kisses the 3 to the crowd. And it was, instead of being down 7, you're down 4 going into the half. And I felt like, ooh, man, these shots, those are the shots that Auburn was having hit on them earlier in the season.
Right.
And they put it on Tennessee. And I thought it gave them a lot of confidence and momentum going into the second half. Like the crowd went nuts, right? And it gave a lot of energy back to the crowd. Can't say enough about the crowd again, keeping this team going during stretches where it felt like they could implode.
Yeah.
Right, because they weren't really pulling away for most of the second half. But I think it's a good point Ike's making about like the confidence in the shots that they're taking.
Yeah.
Regardless of makes or misses, they are shooting they look different. They don't look timid when they're pulling those jump shots from deep.
Flanagan especially, man.
And this is the 4th straight game they've hit at least 8 or more threes.
So low key, Auburn's turned into a good 3-point shooting team over these last like 5 or 6 games. Low key. Like I know we've struggled from 3 all season, but our percentages are way up over this.
Are just the shots just falling? Like what's different?
I think it goes back to just confidently shooting the basketball, man. I think that they said to themselves, you know what? We can't win unless we go get buckets. Right. I gotta let it fly. The only person who I feel like still hasn't really found it at any point in time is Wendell. For whatever reason, he still hasn't found his 3-point shot consistently. But as a team, so number one, they're taking better threes. So let me start right there. We're not forcing up a bunch of like dumb looks. Like most of the 3, if you go back and watch the film on the 3-point shots we're taking, a lot of them are wide open looks. Like they're very good looks that are coming out of rotation or they're coming in transition. They're taking good looks. And so you're going to shoot a higher percentage. If you could shoot you're going to shoot a higher percentage when you're taking good looks. When you're not forcing up a bunch of stuff late in the shot clock. I think the only person who I'm okay with taking like a bunch of contested stuff besides Jalen, because I think Jalen can just shoot flat out shoot. No, not even KD. I wasn't going to say. I'm going to say Alan Flanagan, because for whatever reason, that rise up three that he shoots in rhythm,
that's hard to guard.
Step back. Yeah, he's got.
That's
like
when he shoots at his best. He does catch and shoot's not really his thing. It is usually some sort of rise up off of a step back, and he shoots it really well in rhythm. So he's a guy that you're okay with shooting that shot a little bit more consistently. But yeah, it's just they're sharing the ball really well. And they're taking better shots, and so it's improved the percentages that they're going to shoot from the distance.
For for record's sake, right? They went from the box score. Auburn went from 3-point land against Kentucky. They went 7 of 21. Right? Mm-hmm. They went 12 of 20 versus Bama, and then they went 8 of 22 last night against Tennessee. Right. So, I mean, that's
33% or better is
pretty good for this team.
Good for this team.
Yeah. It's good for this team.
Yeah. By the way, Kentucky is shooting out of their freaking mind right now.
Yeah, they're hitting a run. They're getting hot at the right time.
Kentucky looks stupid. I hate the fact that we look like we're gonna have to play them in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, fire Calipari already and just you know what I mean? That's what
he's gonna save his job. He's pulling his Gus right now. This is his Gus run right now.
I think any talk of him having to save his job is completely ridiculous. I mean, I don't.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is that ridiculous?
I don't know. I think your fans are spoiled. Right? I think your fans are spoiled.
It's all right. We're not here to talk about Coach Cal. We're here to talk about our coach. We'll get to Coach Cal another time.
Morning drop.
Yeah, that might be a good morning drop.
All right.
Just to rile up a couple of Kentucky fans.
Tastes like a skate, B.
I was so for the goal.
I dropped that on you, and then Ike was like, "No." I was like, "Yes, that's teamwork."
Last week it was me. It was me pivoting us away from that. Now it's Ike. B. Let's talk about your boy Lior.
Yeah,
that is.
When I knew we were gonna win this game.
This is actually your boy this time. No, this ain't like the other time.
This is your boy.
Spencer Rattler being your boy. This is your boy for real.
Yeah. You know how teams have that player that like, okay, when he has this type of production, then they usually end up winning. That's not production. It's not production with Lior. He had that dunk. Did he have any other shots made?
No.
I didn't think so.
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to say no off the top of my head.
He played some decent defense. He played some decent defense.
He was good.
Lior Berman was 1 of 3 from the field. So, yeah, it was just a dunk.
Yeah. He had a 3 blocked.
Okay. Yes. You know what's wild is
what made him hesitant on the second 3 that he should have taken. But anyway, continue.
Mm-hmm. Was it Bama? Ike was there.
Yeah, it was the Bama game. During
Bama game. And he was like, yo, I'm watching warm-ups. And Lior just 360 windmilled in the warm-up line. I was like, what?
360 windmill.
I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, I'm about to say what?
I'm exaggerating like a mother. But he was like, hey, yo, Lior can get up a little bit.
Listen, Lior has bounce, bro. Like I listen, Lior. I'm going to admit I didn't know, bro. Like, because I've been at a bunch of games and watched warm-ups. I've seen him dunk before, but it always looked like, oh, okay, Lior could dunk. Mm-hmm. But during the warm-ups at Bama, I was like, wait a minute, he just two-hand that joint, like easy. And then he came up again, he windmilled. I said, what? Man, drug test this man immediately. What is happening?
Said Lior, Aaron Gordon Berman. This is his real name.
So McClung has inspired him.
Right.
This happened. Right. It's like, no, I got this.
But I mean, so when you have that type of, so there are a lot of things going on yesterday. First of all, we knew that this is our last chance to absolutely punch the ticket. We knew that. Everybody knew that. Bruce knew that. He talked about it. We talked about how much the fans would need it. I remember I was seeing Zepp doing an interview, and he was like, we need y'all. We know it's spring break, but we need y'all to come out. Not only was it spring break and the last chance to punch a ticket guaranteed, otherwise you have to make a deep run in the tournament. You can't just beat bad teams that you've already beaten and say, oh, yeah, you deserve that. We needed a quad 1 win. This was the last guaranteed quad 1 win on our schedule. So we had to have it. And it was senior night. And I know a lot of people kind of overlook how emotional football games, football teams, they do play emotional, much more in college than the pros. But basketball is extremely emotional. I mean, you see the emotion from guys when they lose and they're down, or when they're having a bad game. You can see it
or when they don't get fouled and somebody's trying to like get the ball from out of bounds. They turn around and throw the ball off of them. You see them get emotional.
Yeah, real emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive is what I would call that. But you see how much it means to these teams when, again, I'm always give you the betting perspective. There could be a team that is, let's say they're 5th or 6th in their conference, and there's a team that's 1st or 2nd. And the team that's 5th or 6th, they lose to the better team at the better team's house. That next game is like a revenge game, because they're like, they circle this stuff on their calendar, man. They know, listen, man, they embarrassed me that time. You know what? Even to the point, Ike made this point when we were talking about a couple football players. They were like, I think we interviewed Zach Calzada going into the 2022 season, and he said, I want to see Arkansas. At Texas A&M, when he was a quarterback, they played Arkansas, and they throttled Texas A&M. And he was like, of the games he's looking forward to this year at Auburn, now obviously it didn't work out, he was looking forward to Arkansas. Why? Because they embarrassed him. They made him look stupid. And mentally, he was ready to play them again to have his get back. In football, you got to wait a whole year and something to get that. In basketball, you just got to wait a couple weeks. I'm going back there. Look how good we played in our second game against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Again, we played well enough to win that game. We got beat at home, and we were like, we're not that bad. Texas A&M is not that much better than us. And we got something back for that. Senior day is a lot of that. It's exercising all the demons from a rough, February that we had. It's a lot of these players last time playing on this floor. And these players love Auburn, man. They come here, they enjoy themselves, whether they were major contributors or not. We had all that working for us. Now, Leo Berman, I don't think he's a senior. Yeah. But, man, is he a senior?
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay. This was going to be his last time?
Let me verify, but continue.
Okay. Well, if it is, this is his last time playing on the floor. And even if it's not, this is all these guys' last time playing on this floor. It meant something to them. We weren't going to lose again to a team that you could rightly argue we played well enough to. Okay, so he is a senior. We played well enough to beat Tennessee the first time. You don't think they wanted that back to correct that mistake of letting it come down to a 3-point game and not getting a good final shot off or not getting a call or whatever? They wanted this. And to like Ike said, and we're saying, they have been playing better the last few games. They've been bringing better effort, I think, the last 4 games, the last 2 weeks. So once Leo Berman got that dunk, I was like, that's it. That's the emotional lift that we needed. That's the emotional payoff that I thought that was my indicator. I actually bet Auburn on the live line. Once we were down like 6 right before the last shot at the half, I was like, oh, yeah, we definitely winning this game.
To Brian's point about senior night or senior afternoon, in the pre-game, before the game, earlier in the week, Zep Jasper made an emotional plea to fans to show up and was like, we need y'all. Right. Because they gave us I think they gave us Leor, Zep, and Jalen. Right. And these guys, man, this is possibly their last game in Neville. Now, Bruce Pearl was kind of put it, he kind of let it slip, like, I hope these guys come back.
He didn't let that was intentional.
Right.
That was 100% intentional. He was trying to make it known, I want some of these guys to return.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like there are not a whole lot of guys on this team, if any, that he wants to go test their NBA prospects, which is new for him. But he, I thought it meant something. I think this being senior night really meant something in this game. And I think that's a good point B's making. There was a little extra emotion behind this in the pregame when they were announcing the seniors and their parents were out there with them. And Bruce Pearl was, hey, man, I might be hugging these guys for the last time on this court. I thought it added a little extra something to the game in the pregame accolades, or the pregame, things that happened. So everything kind of aligned for Auburn, I thought, from a technical standpoint and from an emotional standpoint, to go out and win this game.
Yeah.
I thought the stars aligned for them.
We've heard from you guys your thoughts about this game. A big win for Auburn, 79-70 over the Tennessee Volunteers, the number 12 team in the nation. Let's hear from some of you guys. Let's start with Jazzy. Appreciate you, Jazzy. I know you've been on vacation. He says, I owe y'all this from a week ago. Been on vacay. What's up, Pete? What's up to you?
My
Glad
guy.
you enjoyed yourself.
Jazzy.
Good to see you, Jazzy. Another good friend of the show, Joe Kyle, says AU men's basketball is like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates this year. You never know what you're going to get. Let's hope we saved all the good pieces in the box till now. I like this analogy.
That is a top tier analogy. I like that.
That was a great metaphor.
I'm with you on that, Ike.
I'm jealous.
Jazzy Joe says some Alabama fans told me the Texas A&M game didn't matter to the players.
Yeah, that's why they were fighting so hard at the end of the game to come back. It didn't matter, right? Okay.
Right.
They using that old Alabama football reason, like when they lost in the Sugar Bowl to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we ain't getting the championship, so we ain't really care.
I mean, we had already won the regular season championship, so it didn't matter as much. We would have came out differently.
Wait,
it's always a reason. It's always something.
Can I ask a question real quick about the SEC regular? If we had beat Bama, if Auburn
that game would have been what determined the
it would have clinched it for A&M if they had won it, right?
No, A&M still would have if they had won. If it played out exactly how it was, we beat Bama and then Texas A&M won. Texas A&M would have been the regular season champs.
Yeah. I thought about that after I saw, because they put that up in Neville. Like, make no mistake, the Petty was strong in the arena, and as soon as Bama lost, they put the final result up on the big board, and everybody went nuts. But I just couldn't help but think, Auburn had a chance, man, to stop Bama in the great season they were having from even winning the SEC regular season title. Would have been amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Leanne Owen, appreciate you being with us. She says, what a glorious day it was. Bruce was right at the steps greeting the fans when we came in, ended up sitting by Dylan's mom and younger brother. And when the game was over, Wendell's granddad gave me, I'm assuming, a high five, hug, something of the nature, some love here.
So she messaged me about this. I saw them before the game because they were near where we were sitting. And Wendell's granddad came in and gave them some armbands to go back and go back and meet players or staff or something. It was that's kind of like some extra access they got. I thought that was real cool of them. They took a cool picture with his granddad, but I like that the family is out there just finding fans to give back to. That was amazing for them.
That's pretty cool. She comes back and says we could be any team's nightmare, kind of in line with what you said earlier, Mike. She says, I want to beat Arkansas because I want to get A&M again. I want them. Is there a team you guys really want?
No, not really.
A&M is actually the one team where I'm like, man, Buzz has been giving us fits for a while. We kind of owe them some get back, and I think we could beat them, but we have to play a good game, man, because they play well defensively and they can make shots in clutch moments. They showed that against Bama yesterday. I've been saying this for weeks. I think Texas A&M is the best team in this conference. I think Kentucky's probably playing the best of any team in the conference, but I think that Texas A&M is the most complete team in the SEC right now. So it's going to be a tough draw, but it's a team I think that we can beat.
Yeah, I'm going to say with Anthony Grant right here, Arkansas is healthy. They were not healthy when they played us, and they went on a really doggish late January, early February because of shoot,
so
they can't shoot. But the problem is what I was saying about emotion and get back. They feel like they owe us one, and that's not a good thing. Emotionally, I think Arkansas would have the edge against us. So I'm not thrilled about that game, but I think we match up well against.
Are they a tournament team?
If I were to say Arkansas now. But their record doesn't say what they are now, and that's we talk about that.
They are.
I don't think they will be because of when they took their lumps with injuries. They didn't get the wins that they needed, and then when they got back healthy, they got the what do you call it? They had their chance against Bama, but they didn't win. They had their chance against Kentucky, but they didn't win. So
what's their big win?
Right.
Yeah, they're 8-10 in conference. So
that's where under 500 in conference is usually like
they need the tournament to punch a ticket probably, which to your point emotionally puts them in a different space when they play us.
Right.
Like I don't think that we need the tournament anymore to make the dance. Arkansas does.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Ephesians 2:8-9. Says, correct me if I'm wrong, but Auburn should be in the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens in the SEC tournament. I only say this because the committee didn't take A&M 22 tourney run in account.
Yeah, I think it was widely believed when and you're in. Auburn had to win one of the last 3 and be a 20-win team. This is Bruce Pearl's 5th 20-win season in 6 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that if they're borderline, they've kind of earned the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Right. So, this was a number 12 ranked team that came in, and ending your season that way should have secured it for them. I mean, they're in the
and how well they played Bama too, right? Like you can't underscore losing closely to highly ranked teams.
Well, the net rankings are kind of bearing that out, right? Like they were losing, but they weren't moving down in the net very much, if at all. Because of how they were there, because they take margin of victory into account in that, in that statistic. And Auburn has just played everybody tough. Kentucky was the only one. That was the only outlier. So when you look at the totality of their schedule, I just think it's really difficult to look at this team, see that they won 20 games, look at all the close losses to good teams and say, hey, this team doesn't belong in a tournament. Lance Dahl posted something where it was like, if Auburn wins or something like this, some dude, I think Lenardi had us in the first 4 or something like that. Is that a possibility? Is that a real possibility that they're in the first 4?
I think Joe Lenardi's the only person who has us there.
I think we'll be in. I'm not worried about it.
Listen, if we weren't a bubble team before we beat Tennessee, how are we a bubble team after beating them?
Right. But I mean, to be in the first 4, I mean, like you're just like,
was that him thinking that we were going to lose the game? Was that his way of thinking that?
No. I think that he is saying it was between, they were comparing us to Memphis or something in the in the graphic.
I think it was Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I was just like, a team Auburn beat earlier this season, if I remember correctly.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah, so I was having trouble.
Joe Lenardi has his opinions and he's entitled to them. I think he's wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm with that.
Leanne Owen comes back and says Auburn was plus 16 with Zep on the floor.
Listen, man, defense solves a lot of problems. Like, it's hard to win when you can't score, but it's hard to lose when the other team can't score either.
Yeah, for sure.
So 6 minutes of just no baskets. And, and it was funny. I didn't even realize it until after the game. Until they said it after the game.
Jalen was like, I didn't.
Wait, what? They didn't score over the last 6 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, for sure. P-Pass comes back and comes up and says, watch the film. Zep Jasper shutting down Tennessee shooting guards so much it's a massacre. Yeah.
This is. I mean, I might do this at this request. I may go pull Zep Jasper because here's the thing, and I think I've mentioned this on here before. I've seen a lot of wild takes in terms of Zep Jasper on Twitter. People saying this is like one of the worst signings that Bruce Pearl has ever made. Bruce Pearl's the only person who thinks that Zep Jasper can be an SEC caliber guard. He gets overhyped in his ability to play D. I've seen all kinds of takes about Zep Jasper, and I'm just like, I don't understand where these takes are coming from. Like, I'm not saying Zep Jasper is an NBA caliber guard, but to say the man can't play defense or this was a bad acquisition for this team is just like,
right.
I don't know where that's coming from, bro. Like, I just don't get that at all. So, yeah, I think this would be a good take for me to pull. Just go show Zep Jasper playing defense and talk about why he gets the defensive recognition that he does as an elite on-ball defender.
Right.
Lisa Alien says Auburn official account was hilarious and kept showing that lone Tennessee fan in the student section.
Shout out to that guy, man. I mean, he was a pillar in a sea of orange and blue. You know what I mean? Just swag surfing, all out of sync, albeit. But that man was standing tough right in the middle. And, you could tell one of the dude next to him was his friend. So he was there with a friend. But, man, that guy was living his hell in that student section.
Living his worst life.
Oh, my God.
Well, guys, listen, we'll
literally
come back.
Not going back and forth with them. That's funny.
Yeah, he was just like, nope.
Yeah, absolutely. I see what you did there. Guys, you are watching the Weekend Tailgate courtesy of Athletic Architects. Do us a favor, guys, and share this content. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's pause to acknowledge our sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial futures, let Athletic Architects help you start to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, check out our friends at GWT2Energy.com.
Listen, I'm a member. Click the join button. Do it. Because you need to, man. You need to get some of this good War Report content in your life. Go ahead and make that happen today. $5.99 gets you to the patron level, and we appreciate everybody who supports the War Report financially in this way. It helps us to continue to do all of the great work that we hope you appreciate and we love doing. You can gift memberships to somebody else if you want to right now from the live chat. You can do that from your desktop or your phone now. YouTube has allowed you to do that from the live chat from your phone. So go ahead and gift a membership. 1 month of membership will be on you, and then they will thank you for it. We give away stuff every show. Hashtag get your weight up right now in the live chat to be able to get this, sponsored by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. Go ahead and put the hashtag get your weight up in the comments. We'll be doing that drawing in about 20 minutes. If you're a person who doesn't have time to rewatch on YouTube, you can listen to us on the go. So we have the morning drops that we do dropping as podcasts, and we have some pod only content that you don't want to miss. So if you're only listening to us on YouTube, you're not getting all the content. Make sure you head over to the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report, the Auburn Express, wherever you listen to podcasts, we got those available for you. Go check that out.
Let's grab a few more comments before we get.
He just told me don't forget. I forgot to say.
You did.
That we've got an interview that's dropping tomorrow. If you are a gymnasty, then you are not unfamiliar with this man. But the coach of Auburn Gymnastics we had an opportunity to sit down and talk to him. So here's a little bit from our conversation with Coach Jeff Graba. What got you into gymnastics? Like, what was the thing that made you say, you know what? Yeah, I want to pursue a career of being in gymnastics.
It was paying the bills. I guess that would be the
That's important. That's important.
Yeah, always an effective motivator.
Very effective motivator.
Talk to us about Auburn becoming a premier destination for gymnasts.
Part of the reason we're competing against them pretty well right now is because we've done some great recruiting. But the recruiting is, there's a number of things people come for. One is success.
The gymnastics. A lot of people don't like them. You know, it's polarizing.
If people liked them, it wouldn't be a very intimidating environment.
That's fair enough.
The last thing you want is your competitors to go, I really keep doing that. That's good for us.
Coach, let's talk rivalry here for a second. Is there one school where you go up and you're just like, you know what? Well, I like them.
For me personally, it's always been Georgia, because when I was at Utah, Georgia won 5 national championships, and we finished second.
That's just a little bit of the conversation with Coach Jeff Graba. Very good conversation. Listen, man, we've got some great coaches at Auburn, and fortunately, we've had an opportunity now to speak with 3 of them, that being Coach Hugh Freeze, actually 4 if you consider Bruce Pearl from last year. Well, 5 if you consider Stephen Pearl. But as far as head coaches, we've spoken with Bruce Pearl, and I'm only speaking of current coaches. So we've spoken with Coach Bruce Pearl, Coach Hugh Freeze, Coach Johnny Harris, and now Coach Jeff Graba.
Right.
Some great conversations with some great head coaches. More to come, trust me. But some great coaches here for Auburn University, and we've enjoyed talking with them.
Yeah.
And coming from us, special thanks to Brian and Jazzy for gifting some memberships. We appreciate you for sure. All right, gentlemen. Auburn appears to be on its way to the NCAA tournament in a very up and down year. Got a little shaky down the stretch. It may sound prisoner of the moment, but is this Bruce Pearl's best coaching job he's done since he's been at Auburn? Who want to step into the ring?
Okay.
I'm going to dissent. Okay. I'm going to say the 2019-2020 team was the best coaching job I've seen Bruce Pearl do because of the development from guys who were bench players in the 2019 Final Four run, Javon McCormick, Samir Dowdy, and they turned into bona fide starters in that 2019-2020 season. I saw so many players get better. Was that the year that they won the regular season outright, right? In
2019-2020?
Uh-huh.
That was a COVID year.
Right, and we didn't have the tournament, but they had won the regular season.
I think they won the regular season, yeah.
Right, so they won the tournament the previous year after a sluggish up and down regular season, won the tournament, the SEC tournament, went on the tourney run to the Final Four. We lost the three best players on that team, including Jared Harper, Bryce Brown, Chuma Okeke, and at least one person ran out of eligibility. Was that McLemore that ran out of? I can't remember. We had somebody who was a rebounding machine and he left. And maybe McLemore was there for 20 and I misremember when he left, but we lost four critical players. We got Okoro, everybody else developed, and then we won the SEC regular season. To me, that was his best coaching job. We just didn't get to see it play itself out because COVID happened. But that is my vote because it came with not only the development of players getting better, but also with we were beating people. We were really, really good. I love that team. I feel like we got robbed of that experience, but a lot of people got robbed of a lot of things. So let me not diminish that with COVID. But to me, that's his best coaching job at Auburn so far.
Yeah, McLemore was on that 2019-2020.
He was. Okay, so he was there.
Yeah, this may seem obvious, but for me, it's still the 2018-2019
G. Boston says Wiley is probably who you may be thinking of.
Nope. Okay. Wiley was on that team as well.
He was on that team too? Okay, cool.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Who? I got to look it up. We lost somebody.
What you about to say, Mike?
Well, it's still the 2018-2019 team for me because I think that it's easy in hindsight to look back and think, look at all the guys they lost, right, going into that 2019-2020 season. But you know, who had Auburn pegged for anything in 2018-2019, right? Like they had to turn it around mid-season. They made a run in the tournament. They won the tournament. It's hard for me. It's just really difficult to say this wasn't his best coaching job when you beat the three winningest programs in college basketball history back to back in the tournament. And those weren't easy. I mean, that game against Kentucky was tough. Now they ran North Carolina kind of off the court, and I think they beat Kansas pretty handily as well.
They did.
But I mean, this was the third time they had to play Kentucky that season. I played Kentucky 3 times that season.
Yeah,
and beating them essentially two out of they lost both the regular. They lose both the regular season matchups.
I don't remember.
One of them was like 82.
I think they played them in the tournament. They played them in the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm. We beat them in the tournament. And then we beat them in the
SEC tournament. And then we beat them in the
we lost to them in the regular season.
Okay, so we only played them one time in the regular season.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. And so I just think, man, it's hard in any sport. I think it's really, really difficult to beat a team twice in one season. Right. And in the NCAA tournament where it's do or die, and again in the SEC tournament where it was do or die, they found a way to do it twice against Kentucky. Those were some spectacular coaching jobs by Bruce Pearl during that season. So I think when you take the totality of that and you say, hey, man, look what he was able to do with a bunch of guys that were pretty much nobody before the season started. In terms of what they were expected to do, I think they were picked to finish 8th in the SEC that year. I mean, this wasn't a team that people expected much out of, and he took them all the way to the Final Four. So while it may seem obvious, I just think as time passes, we kind of overlook a little bit what a great coaching job that was that season with that team, because those guys played well that season, and we remember that they played well, but guys had to step up. They had to find themselves mid-season. They had to get hot at the right time, and they had to beat a lot of good teams. And if you ask me, they never lost. After that, they never lost. Right? They got jobbed by a double dribble, a non-double dribble call. But that team did everything they needed to do to make it all the way to the final. And I just think Bruce Pearl deserves a ton of credit for the rotations, for the guys, for the Bryce Browns, the Jarrett Harpers, and then they lost Chuma Okeke in the Sweet 16, and then kept winning, and then they found a way to keep winning after losing what was arguably the best player on that team.
Yeah.
Sure. I think that was still his best coaching job.
And the players I was thinking about, Ravin had it. Malik Dunbar was one of them because he was a rebounding force for us, but so was Horace Spencer. We had a lot of rebounding leave after that season, and that's a lot of get the ball back for your small guards to do some outstanding shooting. That's how we were able to defend well with those guys in there, rebound well, and it just kept feeding Harper and Brown and the other players for a lot of open threes, and sometimes not open threes, but to lose that. And I'm not disagreeing that was a great coaching job. I don't know how you can say it's definitely better than 2020 when we didn't get to see the extent of 2020 in. Like, I don't know. They could have made it to the Final Four. Like, I really believe that tournament team was going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I mean, of course, I always understand because that was his greatest success that would be, definitely a candidate for his best coaching job.
They were playing pretty good too by the end of that season, if my memory serves me well, before they shut everything down.
Yeah, Okoro was a force on that team. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I thought easily one of the most. I mean, he was not underrated. At least I don't think he was underrated, but he was good. And because he only played 1 year, I think a lot of fans maybe don't appreciate how good he was that season. I mean, great rebounder, great defensive player. I mean, he's just one of the best all-around players that's ever come through Auburn, scoring and defense. He was a two-way player.
Ike, what's your thoughts? You got some thoughts on this?
I do have thoughts. The answer is yes, this is his best coaching job. This is not his best team. This won't be his best record, but it's his best coaching job. Yes. I think the things that people don't like about Bruce Pearl have been things that he's always done, not taking timeouts in critical situations, letting the guards on the floor take the shots. I think he had, this is no slight to the guards we have on this team. I think he had more talented guards on those teams, right, to still get to 20 wins in a season where you don't shoot the ball particularly well and you lose. So you talk about loss of talent on the two teams that you guys talked about. Comparatively, you lost Jabari and Walker off of the team that's here and didn't really add. I mean, you added Janai Broom, but you didn't put a lot back into that coffer to replace those guys that you thought were going to come in and contribute, give you pretty much nothing. Your rotation is shorter this year than it's been in previous seasons. He's typically going 8 and 9 deep into a rotation routinely. This year, it's pretty much a 7 rotation, maybe 8 if on the right night. You don't have a ton of height. You still don't have any size in the backcourt. Still get to 20 wins. I think he's done a masterful job of coaching this team into being a team that is even making the NCAA tournament. A team that most people have said repeatedly to me over and over and over again that this team has no NBA players on it. All of the teams that you guys named have a guy that should be in the league. Every last one of them. There's not a person on this team that we can say definitively that's an NBA guy. Still got 20 wins.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right about that.
I'm saying there's just expectations and all that kind of stuff. Those expectations were built off of the previous years of like, oh, well, Auburn's still going to be pretty good and we expect. You go out there and you watch them play and you're like, oh, this team, they're not even people routinely were telling me this is an NIT team. They're not going to make the tournament. This is his best coaching job. He has
he got so much juice out of this team, squeezed every drop he could to get us into the tournament. Yes, he's done a masterful job of taking a team that has gone from heartbreak to heartbreak to heartbreak and still found a way to get up off the mat every single time, getting absolutely destroyed a couple of weeks ago against Kentucky, still finding a way to get to an overtime game against the number 2 team in the country, still finding a way, albeit without Zakai Ziegler, to win against Tennessee in the last game of the season.
I agree.
Yeah.
I talk about how they've managed KD this year.
KD went in. He's playing his best basketball at the right time this year. And Bruce Pearl benched him earlier in the season because he just wasn't getting. He was just like, you know what? Let me just sit you down for a minute.
Yep.
I'm gonna just sit let's just sit down for a minute and let's refigure this out.
We was concerned about his future at one point in this season. I think we had concerns about where does KD fit in with this team.
Well, he in part got benched for some internal reasons.
That's what I'm saying.
But still,
but still, let's talk about coaches benching players for internal reasons. Talk about how good a coaching job it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, when all
not the only player that got benched for internal reasons this season by Bruce Pearl.
Right.
Didn't make no headlines, but players have been getting sat down all season by Bruce Pearl because they did some stuff that he was like, nah, that's not how we rocking. Yes, this is his best on a team that's not supremely talented. He was still willing to bench players.
Yeah.
And still made the tournament. Yes, this is his best coaching job. Flipping up strategically how we're going to play defense game to game. Understanding where his offense needs to go late game, learning from his previous mistakes. Not flawless coaching job. Best one that I've seen him do from a coaching standpoint, not the best team, not the best record. Yes, the best coaching job to me, in my opinion. You can have whatever other opinion you want to. Isaac's opinion, yep, best one I've seen from him.
If we went into this season, because we were very optimistic about the new additions. Janai Broome has been as advertised, in fairness to him. But with Trey Donaldson, Traore, Westry, our hopes was that these guys, if we knew then what we knew now, what would be our prediction as to whether or not this team would have made the tournament? How would we feel knowing we would not have gotten any production from those guys? How good would we feel about Auburn's chances making the tournament?
If you're saying if those guys had been what we thought they were going to be?
No. If we went into this season knowing what those guys were going to do, how would we feel about this season?
I mean, I'd feel exactly how I feel right now. Again, I feel as if it's been, if he had, I think a lot more people would be like surprised where we finished as well as we did if they had thought Traore and Westry were going to give you essentially nothing the entire season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that has to be factored in.
Yeah, I hear what Ike is saying. In my mind, it's just hard because they lost too many of those games, and there were too many of them where we were looking at thinking, "Hey, man, Bruce, what was going on in this? Like, you keep putting the ball in Wendell's hand at the end of the game,
as opposed
he's not
to
doing
whose
well.
hand?
Well, I literally, again, anybody else."
The Bama game.
I just think we're questioning too many of, hey, what was going on with this at the end? We're sitting in a presser asking Bruce, like, hey, what's that? And he took responsibility for it.
Which is amazing coaching.
It doesn't change that it was not good, though. It doesn't change the fact that it was not good.
The players aren't as talented. He would have trusted his point guard every season to make the exact same decision he gave to Wendell in that scenario. Again, that was part of my point. The way Bruce Pearl is coaching right now in some situations where we're like, oh, that's a head scratcher, seem puzzling because of the people who are executing it, not because Bruce Pearl can't coach. He's done an amazing job of managing this talent.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just saying I don't think it's his best. I don't think it's his best. Right. Yeah. I think that being on the losing side of too many of those things, and then the amount of times that we've asked, hey, what was up with this set? What was going on with this play at the end? Why did we do this? We didn't even get a good look. Right. Some of it, to your point, is players. It's just players. Right. But I think a fair amount of it was him. And it resulted in enough close losses that I can't realistically say this is his best coaching job. I think he did a great coaching job this year. Yeah, absolutely.
I think a little bit of what we're talking about with this tournament teams is we haven't even seen what this team is going to do in the tournament, and I don't really know that they have the ability to make that kind of run. But again,
hey, listen, this could change.
Wise,
we still have time for this to change.
Yeah, listen.
If I'm just judging the regular season, though, look at that tournament team and where they finished in the regular season, and look at where this team finished. The
team that the year that you're talking about was the best coaching job, Mike. We
11-7.
We
in the regular season.
That's what I'm saying. Like people are remembering the tournament run.
Yeah,
and they're forgetting the regular season. That team was still looking kind of shaky.
I think that's what made that year so amazing because we went into the tournament a different team.
Yeah, that's my case. That's exactly my case. Though,
a different team.
This
season is yet to be rewritten.
Yeah. We still have time.
We still have
time.
Listen, where they finish in the tournament to me will not change how my opinion of the job he's done from a coaching standpoint with this team this season. It won't. They could literally lose first round of the SEC, first round of the NCAA. I still will feel like this is his best coaching job considering what he was handed to start it.
Good conversations, gentlemen.
Well, I do have this question. I mean, are we? But as far as the development of players, though, are we not? And I'm not saying where I stand on this. Are we not like the non-development of certain players, or I mean, are we holding Traore against him a little bit?
No,
as a 5-star that didn't come in and do much. Right?
I'm not.
Okay,
because I feel like KD has steadily improved in his year and a half here. I feel like Alan Flanagan's finally getting into a place where he's playing better. I think he has been coaxing and grooming Jalen Williams to finally be a confident player in his final games here in this team. He's developed that young man into a different kind of player than he was when he first entered.
Has Wendell regressed?
I think Wendell, I don't know that he's regressed as far as his ability to make play. I think his confidence is definitely down as far as his shot making ability. But yeah, if we're talking about development, I think that he's done an excellent job, or his staff has done an excellent job of developing some players not so much. I would argue, yes, Wendell probably isn't playing as well offensively. He's given way better effort on the defensive end. I think it's night and day year to year, the effort that you get from Wendell Green on the defensive end, because there's a reason why Zep Jasper played the minutes he did last year and why Wendell's playing the minutes he is this year, because he trusts Wendell on the defensive end a little bit more than he did previously.
Right. Yeah, Wendell wasn't even starting last year.
Correct. Yeah. As well as Janai has played, I hope he's not one of those players that goes and tests the NBA waters, because I think that he has a lot of maturation that he can make in his game if he comes back another year. Right.
There is nobody who's eligible to go to the NBA who should from this team.
And that's where I'm just kind of like, again, he's played well, but he's done some boneheaded things at times. And, I mean, the 1 rebound performance against Kentucky and some of the things that I'm looking at with his game. Now, I'll tell you what. I did talk about this with Wendell and Jalen after the game. This whole thing where he confidently steps back from 3. I'm like, is this going to be a normal thing for Janai? Now, we saw Walker Kessler try it last year.
He went 2 of 4 yesterday.
He saw it, and it was funny because I was sitting next to the Utah Jazz scout at the game, and I turned to him. And I was like, hey, so that Walker Kessler guy's working out. Were you the one who came here and said, hey, we want him? And he was
they got him in a trade, but
Yeah, it was funny. But I was just like, hey,
did they win that trade?
Oh my gosh. Right. But he's doing really well in Utah. And when you think about losing that type of production and what Janai had to kind of step into, it's hard not to compare, a little bit. And so I think the bar was just really high for him. But he's played well this year. I just hope that I just think there's a ton of development left in these guys. And that's why I think Bruce Pearl is kind of hinting at, I hope some of these guys exercise their COVID year and come back.
Because notice he did not say that about the 2 that went to the draft last year. He wasn't like, I hope these guys come back next year. He was like, nah,
they're gone.
This is their last game in an Auburn uniform.
Right.
Yeah. So, maybe you add, who's the kid? the guard that's coming in that everybody's so
Aiden Holloway.
Holloway, right?
Holloway.
I've seen some of his tape. I mean, he's tearing it up right now.
Scorer.
And so I think if you add scoring to this team, and then don't forget Westry injury. B, I did get a chance to ask BP about Trey Donaldson. It was off. It was like I slid it in at the end. I was like, "Hey, is Trey okay?" And he was like, what he was like, that was just playing better, and then he left. So I don't know what's going on with Trey. I don't know you had the question, but I tried to slide it in there for you. And yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen from Trey in spurts down the end. I think that he can be a little bit, some consistent scoring for them. At times, it's just this team just has a ton of development left to do. And this might be his best chance to keep the core of a team together, the most of the core of the team together going in from one season to the next.
Yeah,
right.
Than what he's had in previous years where he's replacing his best player every year. Right.
Right.
So,
right.
If we had to say who's the best player on this team and are they coming back?
It's Jalen Williams to me.
It's Jalen Williams. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. If Jalen Williams comes back, that I think
That'd
that changes the expectation for 2023.
It should be preseason all SEC, right?
The answer to that question should be Janai Broome.
Should be.
That's a
But
good point.
the answer to that question is Jalen Williams.
Right.
Who's playing the best. I think Janai has the highest ceiling of any. Oh, no, that's hard because Jalen got a pretty high ceiling. He just needs to get his confidence level is where, because he could just do everything. Like, he's a better outside shooter than Janai is. I think that they have equivalent post ability. I'd give Janai a little bit more edge in the post just because he's got more back to the basket moves. Jalen really essentially has like one move with his back to the basket.
Give me that hook.
So I don't know, man. And I do think Jalen's a better ball handler. So
well, guys, listen, let's get to the giveaway. What are we giving away? A mug, courtesy of GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. You guys have seen Walt in here already today. It's courtesy of him. Thanks, Walt, for that. We're about to draw right now. Take it away.
37 people, huh? All right. Well, hey, listen.
That's how you feel.
Listen. It is what it is.
You gotta like your chances if you wanted a 37. Deborah Howard. And we saw her in here earlier. So, Deborah, let us know if you are here so that we can give you some instructions. Guys, be on the lookout for her. Let me grab some comments here. The Walker Show says, why hasn't Johan Traor's play improved?
Because he hasn't played. He hasn't played.
I mean, do we know his play hasn't improved? Like, how much playing time has he gotten for us to evaluate whether or not? I guess you're assuming because he hasn't played more, his play hasn't improved.
Yeah, I think it's more of what I understand about his situation is there is still a learning curve for him in terms of learning the game, and that's why he hasn't seen the floor more. I mean, he got 2 really big rebounds.
He did
yesterday, and but he looked lost trying to score near the basket. Like, he had one drive, he was trying to put one back, and it looked clumsy and disheveled.
Looks like he's thinking. Is what it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely not playing instinctively right now on the offensive side, but there were some things that are just, when it comes to rebounding, I feel like a lot of that is just athleticism.
Yeah.
There's a lot of instinct in rebounding as well too, but like he went up and he got 2 really big rebounds. I thought that was, good and flashed what he can do. With Cardwell out, I expected him to get some time, and he got in there. And it just takes some time for him.
He has a shot. I mean, he has a shot from perimeter. I just think there's other parts of his game that has to be worked on for sure. And I think he's a project.
Yeah. I just think we get when we hear 5-star, right? Because he was a former 5-star athlete.
You think Jabari?
Right. Everybody just thinks, they come in freshman year, boom, right? Because that's what a lot of the 5-stars are doing. They're coming in, they play 1 year, and then they're gone.
Right.
And some of these kids do take time to develop, like 5-star athleticism, but maybe not 5-star mentally just yet in terms of processing the game.
And Jabari's dad played in the league. Like, Jabari's been around ball.
Yeah, them legacy athletes, man, just have they just have an advantage. All right,
they're different. They're different for sure. Deborah says she is here. Congratulations to you. Here's what we need you to do. Email us, business@thewar report. We need your physical address. Send that to us, and your mug will be on its way shortly. Congratulations to you. Thanks for watching the show. Let's get some more comments in here. Anthony Grant, he already says who's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. We know who we want to come back, but who do you think is coming back?
I think Broom.
Everybody.
I think, I mean, whether or not Jalen comes back, I think Jalen's one guy who you could see how his production and how his skill is, how he's gotten better year after year. And I think he'll get some looks from NBA guys just because of what he can do, which is shoot from outside, rebound, and he's got length to defend. So that will get you looks from NBA all day, every day. But I think if he can hit the next step, which for him is scoring at will and aggressively, then that pushes him into first round territory. And I think that's a good sell for this staff to say, hey, you just now you're doing all these things. Now you got to hit that next level, and you can do that over the course of the next year. I think that's I don't want to say an easy sell. It just depends on what Jalen wants. But I would for sure. If I had to say right now, I think Jalen comes back. I hope Broom comes back for the same reasons you just said, Mike, because I don't think he's ready yet. Like, he had some games where kind of similar to KD. If it's not going well, then he kind of, oh man, like he's taunting guys every time he scores on them. But if a guy gets the best of him a couple times, then he kind of calms down a little bit. And that's not, he needs to be able to be his best self all the time. And he hasn't been able to do that really this year. So I think there's room for him to grow. But again, does he realize there's room to grow? Or do just enough NBA staff come calling to pull him away? Because I don't think they're gonna say, hey, you got some great back to the basket moves, 6'9", dude. Like, that's in the league. That's not gonna do much for you, not in this league.
Yeah, guys, to me, this is a much simpler conversation in the era of NIL. Start dropping bags, and all these guys have a chance to come back. Because unless there's a first round, who's a first rounder on this team, man? Right. There's no first round money on this team. On to victory. Drop enough bags, and then Bruce returns his car. Final Four next year.
You say that, but
that needs to be the slogan of
nobody's running from. I'm just saying nobody's running for money to the NBA because it's not guaranteed to be there.
The G League pays money, right?
He's not gonna leave to go to the G League though.
Yeah, but so did some of these NIL deals are hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of these.
Some of them, but we can't say for sure that that's what they would get if they came back.
Right,
that was
that's
his
why
point.
you drop the bags. Right, yeah, drop the bags and help them keep it together. That's supposed to be the whole point of these collectives, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
if I'm listen, but somebody might decide, hey, I don't even have to do the pretend school thing. I can just go to the G League and develop and make just as much money as
they're doing the pretend school thing right now.
I know. What if they don't want to do it anymore? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. I mean, how much pretend is it even? Like, you're just here, show up. Everything is, as a student athlete, you got to really try to fail. Right? They are provided so many resources, study halls, tutors, GAs, just things that are not available to the average, student. Like, I mean, I'm just saying,
fail.
Yeah, just come back and just make it good next year. I mean, if they return, and
come back and be good. That's the plan.
Yeah, I'm not really here to argue with you. This is my emotional plea.
And take this bag while you be good.
Yeah, to hold the team together for more than 1 year so that we can just see what Bruce can do when he returns a whole core of guys, right? And have one of the more, kind of like when we got beat by Miami in the tournament. All everybody talked about was just how that senior-laden team that had been together forever, and we got beat by experience. Well, hell, why can't Auburn be that team next year that does that to somebody? Like, were there any NBA prospects on that Miami team?
I mean, they're still playing. That core's still together. So
they're still together.
Yeah, they're good. They're probably going to be top.
Yes, Mike.
Are they a tournament team this year?
Yeah, they're going to be like a top three. I think they'll be a 3 seed.
They're going to be one of the top seeds, like a 3 or something.
That could be Auburn next year. # drop the bags. # on to victory. # under the table. # over the table. Whatever you got to do to get these guys. Send the transfer. Wire the money. Make it happen. This is what these stupid collectives are supposed to be for.
Tamper, damn it, tamper right now.
Exactly.
Well, it's not tampering. They're already on the team.
I
It's
know,
not like-
I know.
Yeah, right. This is easy. You don't even have to recruit them. They're here. Keep them.
The Walker Show says, no offense to the team. Is this Bruce Pearl's best, or he may be saying this is Bruce Pearl's, or is he saying, is he asking, I'm not sure. Is this Bruce Pearl's best coaching job thus far for Auburn basketball? I think he may be saying this is. So,
Yeah.
He has someone who agrees with Ike there. Wesley Hilson says AU moved from 36 to 32.
Talking about the net.
Yeah.
Talking about the net. Okay, yeah. I mean, they were listen, I had read where they were going to maybe drop from 36 to 37 if they had lost. I mean, that's how much the net respects Auburn's schedule and the margin of victory or losses.
Right.
Right. So, it's always good to be on the winning side of that. But, it wasn't, as far as the net is concerned, it wasn't going to change much. But as far as like the human element, it would have changed a lot. Whatever human element is in picking these teams, it definitely would have hurt Auburn if they had lost.
Walt, good to see you here. Walt says the 2016 SEC tournament was the best.
That was fun because we were not a good team.
Yeah, they made it all the way to the championship game and lost in that year.
Right.
No, they made it to the semis, didn't it? I thought we made it to the semis.
Well, help us out. I thought they made it all the way. I thought they made like a really deep run and then lost. You could be right, B. I don't remember.
But they made some noise. They made some noise in that tournament for sure. Jazzy Joe says, facts or nah, Auburn makes the tournament every year of Pearl's current contract.
Dude, that's a long contract, bro.
I'm going facts on this one, baby.
Whoa.
We paid him $50 million.
This is
$50
boog or
million.
nah. This is what this is. This is
You
boog or
bug,
nah.
you bug. For $50 million, you bug on this one. I'm going facts. Bruce Pearl, we paid you too much damn money to be missing the tournament.
Why not?
Why do they get him in? Yeah.
Why?
Just like this year, right? I'm on Ike's side now. This is his best coaching job. That's it. You won me over with this. Facts. This is his best coaching job. Make it turn every year. And if they make it next year, that's going to be his best one. Every year it gets better.
It gets better every year. Walt Taylor says, this year, if we hit 75% of our free throws, we win every conference game but 2, in my honest opinion.
It's so crazy to think about that because Ike and I had an interesting conversation about free throws, right? Like, free throws are the one statistic of the game that you can argue if you hit them, it changes the least about how the game progresses after that. Because fouls are fouls, and if you hit your free throws, that margin closes, and there's realistically the game proceeds somewhat in the same way as it would have if you hit your free throws. So when you talk about that loss to Bama, man, in overtime, KD missed 4 free throws. 4. In a game that you lost by 5, ultimately at the end of the game. You think about the missed free throws in regulation in a game that was tied at regulation. I mean, it's. I have to agree with this, man.
Yeah.
I think
I 100% agree with this.
Three or four plus 3 or 4 games. If you just hit your free throws.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with this. If we make free throws in a lot of these games, it changes it. And to the point that Mike was talking about, the conversation we had.
We absolutely be Vandy.
Yeah. When you think about, of course, a free throw changes the score, right? And a score changes, the pressure on a particular shot. But that's kind of the point, is that they have to play differently on their end if you're just making your free throws, and they have to play you better defensively because it's like, well, we can't just foul them and send them to the line. They're making them. So it's like it changes the complete dynamic, but like play to play, it's different than missing a shot and it's a live ball rebound, because you have a better opportunity for having people back because people are already back from the free throw line, right? It's different than having a live ball turnover. It just changes the game in a different way because nobody's there contesting that shot. No, like it's just you and making a bucket at that point in time. So it's like those things change the game in a different way, but it's just make your damn free throws. My point, just make the free throws, man.
Just make them.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Great silver lining here by Jazzy Joe. We would have killed for this team during the Barbie era.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Perspective.
I mean, Barbie is a terrible coach too, though. So
Yeah,
like,
listen, Tony Barbie is out here blocking everybody who, like, if you say anything about his time at Auburn, it's blocked.
and listen,
Well known on Auburn
Let me
Twitter.
go tweet something about his time at Auburn. I want to get blocked.
Like,
I'm having some FOMO right
like, yeah, it's well known on Auburn Twitter. He's blocking people for just mentioning anything he did. You could be like, Tony Barbie had a coffee at the Foy, and then they'll be like, oh, block. I don't remember that. I think
Tony Barbie spilled his coffee in Foy.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, he is out here blocking. He's throwing up the Matumbos out here.
Oh man, he was horrible. Oh man, goodness
and the
gracious.
entire war report just got blocked. I heard somebody say something about me.
Hugh Rayleigh says, "Hey, they NIT now, which stands for now in tournament."
Hey, I like that.
I like that.
You know, to Ike's point about all the Debbie Downers that were out here, just this is not a tournament.
People were so sure we weren't going to make the tournament, and I was just like,
right now, listen,
there's a clear. Again, I'm not saying it wasn't in question. It's fair to question it,
right.
But to just proclaim it so confidently, and I was just like, that is a clear path for us to get to the NCAA tournament. Y'all see the path, right? Like it's not as if. And it's not some insurmountable task.
Right. It was win one of the last three.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Against teams that you could definitely beat.
Yeah. My whole thing was they could lose all three easily, just as easily as they could win one of them. But, you know, unfortunately, they got one of them.
The game they got was a game I felt the most comfortable about. I didn't feel comfortable we was going to go on the road and beat any of those teams. I was impressed with our effort against Bama.
Still up 17 on the road versus Bama. Like, come on.
But
man.
I'm just
I
could have been. I was that close to being dead wrong about that.
Yeah,
you should have gotten that one.
Yeah, you were talented enough to go up 17 on them on the road, right? If you ask me, you're talented enough to beat them when you take the totality of how all the other games have gone. And this has kind of been my thing about this team playing up and down to whatever competition it is they play.
Yeah.
Right. It just feels they're playing to the level of whoever they play. So if you know, we slumming it, you know, at the end of the night when the house light's about to come on, that's what we're doing. Right. That's Auburn. Right. When you could have been pulling the hot chick the whole night. So
how did you make that relationship analogy? I don't even know how you did that.
It worked though. It works.
Did it though?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, it works. It works. Come on, man. It works.
He said he could have been slumming it. Could have got the hot chick. I'm like, wait a minute, hot chick. We need to win 1 out of 3. I'm confused.
I'm taking the friend. So it happens. Listen, it happens.
Oh, man.
We've all done it, right? Like we jumping grenades, we don't have to. And I just don't understand it. So like they just at some point they just have to start believing, and this is what I hope happened against Tennessee, is that they just start believing that they are, you know, they're the alphas in the room. Yeah, and start playing like it down the last, 10 minutes of every game.
Yeah.
And you win, right? So they've got to find it. I still think, man, Wendell Green, guys, man, when Wendell scores and plays confidently and just doesn't go 2 for 16, I'm not even saying he has to have the best night, but I think if he can be 40% or better from the field, Auburn has a real good shot in most games they play.
Yeah.
Sure. When he goes 20-something, it's gonna be difficult.
I mean, I like the 13-9 Wendell. Like I like when he's running the offense and he's creating shots for other people. When he's a playmaker out there, I like that Wendell.
Yeah,
like he doesn't have to score 20.
And to Walt's point about free throws, and 6 for 6 from the free throw line yesterday. Yeah. He made all 6 free throws that he took yesterday, and I think he ended with 24 points on the night.
Yeah.
And the game that you win by 9, that's significant.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. If he misses half of those, and then all of a sudden it looks differently going into that last 5 minutes.
Leanne Owen says, any chance Trey switches sports? I don't think so.
Zero chance.
I don't think so. Especially given that it's a new coaching staff at Auburn, and they're already loading up heavy at defensive back.
We technically recruited him at football, but there was zero chance he was going to play football.
I think it was more because we didn't have the basketball scholarly because of the the steel restriction still, so we needed to get him in on that football.
Yeah,
which is smart.
it was Bruce and Harsin kind of working together on, hey man, take this one for the team because I need this guy. But
And I mean, clearly we weren't going to use all the football scholarships anyway. So
See what you did there.
we had extra.
I see
got a
what you
few
did
more
there.
here. Yeah.
I see what you did there. J Dog says, just wanted to give you guys a little spring dollars as
Okay.
always. War Damn Eagle, War
Yes.
Eagle to you, J Dog.
My man.
Appreciate you, man.
Make this a habit.
Drop the bag. Joe Kyle says, I'm with Sunshine. 5 shutouts, Mike.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is the energy we need, right?
Yes.
This is the Amani energy we need, Joe.
Where's Amani? I need Amani Sunshine.
No points for Arkansas in the first round. Auburn 80, Arkansas 0 in basketball. That's what I'm calling. We need it.
I like that. Guys, anything else before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to say again, being home and being able to attend some of these games, like, Ike has been probably the more than I have on the basketball side. But being able to experience what I would call is a very special, kind of like rediscovering what is a special community, has been a little bit of a revelation for me. Now, Auburn has always been special. And you guys know when we were in school, from a community standpoint, if you missed the Tiger Transit and you were walking down the street, somebody would stop to offer you a ride, or like community was amazing. It was funny. And in remembering what that community was like, after the game, I was walking down the side of the arena, and a police officer is rolling past me, and he passed by and he slams on his brakes and he backs up aggressively. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I can't even walk down the street. He puts his head down the window and he goes, hey, man, do you remember me? We went to school together. And I was like, my guy, right? And it was like the way the community just came back instantly. And knowing that these kids are still experiencing that 20 years later, where it's just the community, right, is something special about that Auburn has. And I know other schools will claim to have it, but I will tell you right now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Bama doesn't have it. Yeah, they don't have it. I'm telling you. Look at their fans. Look at how they get behind things. They don't have it. Auburn has something that very few schools have, and that is real community, real family. It's real. Auburn is real. And some schools are not, right? Bama isn't real. Bama is Nick Saban and how many wins he gets at football. So they can puff their chest out about rooting for a school they never attended, right? Auburn is, connection. Auburn is emotion. Auburn is, it's damn near spiritual, man. Like it's something that is hard to put into words. And so going into this tournament, for a lot of the negative Nancy's that have been in Ike's mentions, I would just beseech you to just remember what Auburn is when these guys take the court in the SEC tournament and in the NCAA tournament, because they deserve better than what I've seen from some fans. Right? One guy literally in my mentions, when I said, hey, Auburn is making the tournament, deal with it. And he's like, so what? Right? We should get more than one. You know what? Almost like a who cares type of attitude.
Right.
Well, guess what, man? The players care.
Yeah.
The coach cares.
Yeah.
Right? The 9,800 people who showed up to the game yesterday when it was spring break cares.
Right.
Just shut up. If you can't get behind them in the iffy times and the bad times, maybe you're not really part of the community. Maybe you're just pretending. But either way, do it quietly. Be dumb quietly. Because that's what we need. We need more people being smart and encouraging, louder.
Be quietly dumb.
And we need the dumb people. Yeah, we need the dumb people to be quiet about their ignorance, man. I'm tired of watching it. Now Ike has been going at these people. I've been quiet. I've just been watching it on Twitter. Or he'll just say something, and then 10 people will jump in his mentions. This is an NIT team. They're not worthy of a coffee on Tumors, right? Or lemonade, right? Whatever you get on Tumors these days. And
I'll watch an Ike tweet and I'll be like, I wonder over and under how many people just got an ulcer.
Right. I understand it. Over simple stats that he stated.
Yeah, like I said, I don't even say anything controversial. It's like
over simple stats.
It's like, why are you so angry right now?
But
right?
I already know what's going to happen when Ike will tweet. It's like the tone of, I'm like, oh boy.
Auburn has a chance to make this tournament still, guys. Oh, NIT. Right, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, is it hard to live your life that way?
Yes.
Yes, it's got to be difficult to just be constant. Like, I understand that you want to try to listen. There are very few people, and I've dealt with my inner demons about this, about allowing myself to get too emotionally attached to Auburn losses, right? Like, because it used to just absolutely destroy my day. Like I used to hate 2:30 games for the simple fact that the rest of my night was going to suck if we didn't win, right? Like the late games, like I could go to sleep at. It's like, I turn TV off, go to sleep, I'm done. Right? You wake up the next day, you're free. The 2:30 games is done by like 6, and now I gotta like talk to people and try to be. It's like, I don't want to talk to you, man. We lost, bro. Like, shut up, talk to me. Like, I had to deal with that for the football situation. For basketball, the heartbreaking losses, all that stuff, it hurts, man. It gets on you. But like every game, though, I'm showing up and I'm watching every single one of them, and I am rooting for the team like hell. When we lose, though, it don't hurt as much. I've learned to like cope with that a little bit.
I'm matured.
I
emotional maturity.
Got a little more emotional maturity about myself, but I just don't get people who are just like, man, screw this team. I'm not watching any more this season. I'm like, I get it, man, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch the next game and I'm going to hope they play better. And I'm going to be cheering just as loud. I'm going to be screaming at my TV, or I'm going to be in the press area reacting internally.
right.
Yo, that's being in the press box as a real fan is the most painful experience you can ever go through, especially in close games, and you're just like, I have to say something. I can't though. All right, I'll just tweet it.
Right, Twitter is your outlet from the press box. Yeah,
but I don't get it, man. Like, I just like relax, bro. Like,
pipe down.
I get tired of telling people to relax because I know you're not going to relax. I get you're not going to, but it's just like, yo, do you? And then like the people who like want to at the players and say the dumb stuff. Like,
that's
another thing I can't get on board with. Be like, the whole adding players and like and it's just like, I mean, normally our community does a good job of jumping on those people as soon as they do something stupid like that.
Right.
But just delete your Twitter, man. Like you got to do something real dumb for me to at you, and it's not going to be about basketball.
At your therapist.
Yeah, it's not really about basketball. Yeah, if I'm going to ask you about something you did, it was probably something you did off the court that was more like reprehensible, but it's not going to be about basketball, right? It's just not. Now we tweet criticisms of players, sure,
right? Like I said, I'm openly critical when I think, but it's just like
it's about play
by data and stats.
The energy is different, though. Like I say, it's a very different energy when you're saying something that is critical versus you being a jerk. Like, it's a different energy, and you know the difference between that energy. Y'all know when y'all being jerks.
Yeah,
let's be clear. You absolutely know it. But the problem is you don't care. You don't. And I guess my bigger problem is, why do you feel the necessity to do that? Like, nobody is sitting here with a camera watching you do your job and you do something stupid and they're being like, look at you right now, Steve. This is a stupid typo you just made on that report that you just put in. What kind of idiot are you?
Right.
Can't ever meet a deadline. Nobody does that to you on your day-to-day basis. And the thought process of, they signed up for it because they didn't sign up for you to be a jerk. They didn't.
Right. So
that's not what they signed up for.
Disrespect shouldn't be standard in any profession. Well, disrespect should not be standard.
I agree. To the point about that one mention on just me saying, hey, Auburn's making the tournament, right? And the response, which was exactly, because I want to quote it right. It was yes. So we want to be a top tier program. We have to do more than one tourney win since 2019. Happy to be going, but not impressed. And I just have a hard time with that comment, right? Like, I just have a real hard time with that comment. I'm like, okay, but what is the point of commenting that after they have not? You don't even know.
Accomplishment.
Yeah,
it is absolutely an accomplishment to go back to the tournament again.
Right?
When
but
we were starved to even sniff the tournament for years.
Right. I mean, we're not talking about a team like the schools that had a championship pedigree at basketball. This is, I mean, you can't turn into Kentucky fans before you're Kentucky.
Right.
Right? Because they won their few championships. And Auburn is still trying to get there. It's one of the if not the hardest championship to win in sports. Because you don't get, like, I mean, the tournament is it.
It's a gauntlet, so bro. Like, it's not easy to win a freaking championship. Bro.
Yeah, like, you know how, like, in the NFL, we've seen wild card teams win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't never seen no 16 seed win an NCAA championship. It probably will never happen.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, let's just keep it in perspective. And if you're going to be this guy, these are the people I mute. Right after you say something like this, I'm like, mute. I probably not gonna want to see anything you ever have to type ever again, because it just to me in that moment, the who cares attitude just doesn't make sense, because we know who cares. And I tweeted this out, but man, let me tell you, because of my lupus thing, right? Like, I have to park in the ADA lot, and they take golf carts there, but after the presser, it's so far after the cart stop. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hump it out. And I'm walking past, there's a back gate there, Ike, on the side of the stadium where I think coaches park. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Pearl is there. Right. So when he say who cares, Bruce Pearl cared. He looks at me, he goes, great day out, Mike. Get yourself some vitamin D. And it was so weirdly positive, right? Like, he was in such a great mood after that. I was just like, you know what? I will get some vitamin D. That was very encouraging. Thanks, Bruce. Like, suddenly the walk.
You know what, Bruce?
Right? Yeah. I mean, it mattered. It mattered to him, right?
I'm going to get some vitamin D.
It changed my whole outlook for the rest of the
afternoon. Know what? Thank you, Bruce.
All right, because I was pissed about the walk. I was just like, oh man, like, they don't care about me. I got to walk all the way back to this lot. And then he said that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a pretty good day. I mean, if he can be happy, I can be happy. And if you've had to see these guys after the losses and the wins, the players, like Wendell, to me, takes it the hardest.
Yeah, he does take it really hard.
He takes it the hardest.
He is in those post games pissed.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
Yeah, I mean, he was having fun yesterday. Like, yesterday he had the most fun I've ever seen him have when talking about hitting that three at the end of the half. And, like, they were joking. I was joking with them about Janai pulling threes whenever he wants. And, but when you see them after they lose, to me, it's just pretty clear how much it affects them, how much of their heart they put into it.
Yeah.
And when you make comments like that, you just crap all over all the hard work they put in, win or lose. And I just that's what I'm saying. Ike and I did a segment with Chase a really long time about true fans or real fans that everybody got so upset about, right? Yeah. And if we're going to talk about real fans, to me, a real fan will always stop to think, let me respect the hard work that these guys put in first before I make this comment that is unfairly critical to all the, in lacks perspective, because this guy is talking about, we got to do better than one tourney win. Well, you know what? Before, we had to do better than no tourney appearances.
Right.
So let's just keep this in perspective for a little bit, bro. Auburn is producing first-round draft picks. And it's getting harder to hold the core of your team together, because Jabari may have been a great player, but he was a freshman. He was a few months removed from high school.
Right.
And you're complaining about the tourney result. Give me a break. We had Walker Kessler for 1 year.
Right.
That's it. Now, if we were returning every guy every year, maybe this guy has a point. right? Like, maybe this guy has a point, but as it stands, he has no point, and I just think he should delete his Twitter and just not tweet anything.
This is again, not to beat the dead horse. That's why I agreed with Ike on this, because we're seeing how Auburn is living through the one and done era.
It's hard. And I asked
this is when you earn your paycheck, when you're having to reload after one and done players are leaving.
We ask this question, Caesar, most times when we get a chance to talk to the coaches. Like, how hard is it, again, to have to replace your 1 to 2 best players every single year? It's a challenge. Now, the better teams in college basketball are having to do it. So you can't really complain too hard about it, because it's not like Duke is returning their Kyrie Irvings.
But even those schools will get bounced in the first round of the tournament.
That's
what they'll have that 1 year where, I mean, how many Blue Bloods we ran through in 2019?
Is North Carolina going to make the tourney this year?
No,
it's not looking likely.
Yeah.
They were.
They can make a run
last year, were they not?
They can make a good run in their ACC tournament. They got just enough good teams in there for them to make some noise. But at present,
to Mike's point, they were in the national championship game last year and might not make the tournament.
But they actually brought back their best players. So I don't know what's up with that. Like, that's crazy.
Correct. So
what's the guy's name?
Amplifies the point that it's hard to do this year in and year out. This is
Baycott.
Baycott is there.
Baycott.
It's not an easy thing to do this every single year. It's not like, I don't know what universe y'all are living in where making the tournament every year is an easy thing to do. 5 out of the last 6 years having 20 wins, not easy.
Right.
In a conference, Ike,
that's getting better every season.
It's getting better every year. Everybody's getting better.
There's like 7 teams in this conference. Maybe could potentially be 8 or 9.
8 teams I saw from the SEC that could make the tournament. 8 out of 14. Give me a break, man. We got 8. We would have played all 8 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just keep it in perspective, Twitter dude, before you're making these stupid comments, right? Just crapping all over the accomplishments of a player and a coach who grew something out of nothing, right? I mean, this was a complete rebuild when Bruce Pearl took over. He did it the right way. And, to me, he's always been the poster child for why we should have more patience on the football side when it comes to hiring coaches, to see if they can grow a program and you'll never get it. The football, like, you're just not going to get it. So, but, when given a chance to grow a program and develop players and do things in a manner that is consistent with prolonged success, it is. I just don't, I don't know, man. It's just, we've never really been good at basketball, and now somehow we're selling out the arena, and fans are showing up, and they're proclaiming to have the best home court in in college basketball. Mm-hmm. This dude, he probably would have been standing next to the Tennessee dude in the student section, like, yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't think this is a tournament to you.
He would have been in there celebrating with everybody else, but then on social media hating right after, because that's really what these fans want to do.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Just be a real fan, dude. I'll end it there. I just say be a real fan and just be mindful if you are, like, I just keep criticisms to play. Yeah. Keep criticisms to play and stats and things that can be verified. And there are those who can go a little bit deeper in their analysis, in their criticisms, because it's based on analysis. Not everybody will agree on those criticisms, but for the most part, it's just not personal. It just is what it is. Like, listen, man, I love Wendell Green, the person, right? I'm not so fond of Wendell Green taking shots at the end of the game, for the most part. And that's just based on the result of him taking shots at the end of the game. It's not personal, but I'll tell you what, he puts his heart into it. And I told you, I don't think no player takes it harder than him. And these post-game pressers, when they don't win, it matters. And so I was happy for him when he had a good game. And that was one of my first questions to him was, hey, man, you got it going, right? How good did that feel to get it going from the field, and 8 of 14 from the field, and 20 leading scorer? They're a tough team. And Bruce Pearl himself said it. This team goes as Wendell goes. We run through him. I think he's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So having that pressure on you every game as well, too, man, that's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
It's not, man. These athletes are under tremendous pressure. And when I tell you that having 10,000 people stand and watch you do anything, most people will never know what that's like.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, every once in a while, a fan gets a taste of it because they do that little putt for a car thing.
No, the guys who have to do the layup, free throw, 3-point, they out there
just blowing 2-foot
pathetic.
layups. Yeah, right. Because it's different when all these people are just watching you do it.
Yeah, you go into the gym shooting around by yourself and you think you're a pro. All right,
Easy
cool.
when nobody's watching.
Now let me let a couple thousand people stare at you while you do it, and you miss the first one. And see how good it feels.
When I'm playing golf, I hate when the group behind us rolls up on us and it just watches me tee off. I hate that because if there are 3 more people watching me tee off, I'm most likely to shake it. That's what it's like. And then when you watch real golf, Tiger is hitting drives with somebody standing 5 feet to his right.
Yeah.
Taking pictures with a camera. If you're standing 5 feet to my right in front of me when I'm teeing off, your life is in danger. Like I don't want to be responsible for your medical bills. It's a lot of pressure. It is pressure to have that many people watching you do something. And I just think we could show a little bit more respect for the amount of pressure that it takes to go out there and perform in front of thousands every night, right? And for amateur athletes as well too. Now they're getting NIL. But this especially held true for me before, like, because when you're going out there and you're doing it for your shot and for the love of the game and for your teammates and for your community, man, I don't think that the community should turn around and crap.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Ben Bloodworth says new shirt. Shh. Be done quietly.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
I can make that happen.
Walt Taylor says you guys are right, but those of us that lived through the Barfield Bryant years are the true fans. Sorry, y'all had to. I mean, you know,
yeah, they endure some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Oda Smith says, fellas, I've been off work for 9 days. Screw tomorrow. LL War. Damn Eagle March Madness. Here we come.
Hey,
yeah.
Let's go.
For sure.
That's a long enough vacation from work that you really don't want to go back. A 3-day weekend stuff sometime, 9 days, man. It's
gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, but enjoy. All right, tell the people what they need to be doing.
Yeah, man, you need to become a member of the War Rapport. I'm definitely going to might be my afternoon is doing a Zep Jasper cut up so I can get that to you guys so we can get Zep some love on his way out because he don't have no eligibility left. He definitely ain't coming back next year. So I want to give Zep some love. Might do a Zep Jasper cut up for you guys and do some film on that. We still got a lot of Robbie Ashford film to take a look at. We are going to be watching film during the off season. We're going to be the most intelligent fan base there is in regard to football, because we got plenty of film to watch and we're going to get in here and understand what we're talking about so that when we're having conversations with idiots online, we could just laugh at them. That's all I do. I just laugh. I'm like, oh, really great point there. Person who has terrible points and is in my mentions. Thanks. I actually said that to somebody the other day. I was like, you have no point, but thank you. So, yeah. But yeah, man, so $5.99 gets you to the place where you can come in and fellowship with the guys doing that on a regular basis. Thank you for those of you who did the gifted membership thing already today. If you want to gift memberships, you got a little time before the live chat ends. You can gift the membership and someone will get a month of free membership on you. We give away stuff, and if you didn't get a chance to win it, don't worry. You can hit up the website. thewarreport.com is where you need to go. Click on the shop, go and take a look at the catalog and shop with us, man. Get a little some merch, man. We are going to be getting into the warmer season, and every new season I try to drop something new in there. So be on the lookout for some new designs coming up soon, man. I'll hook you guys up with some fresh stuff to be able to shop with. Audio wise, we are the Auburn Express everywhere, powered by the War Rapport. Go and listen to us in audio format, and we appreciate the listens over there. Another opportunity and a way for you guys to support us that costs absolutely no money. Just go listen to the podcast every now and then, man. So we appreciate that. A lot of audio only podcast content dropping over there.
Guys, before you get out of here, if you haven't done so already, please share this content, smash the like button, subscribe to our channel. We're on social media, guys. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. Guys, we're going to drop it on a Monday morning. Be there with your coffee mugs for the morning drop. We will see you then. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.